Awesome. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining our presentation today. Just a quick introduction. I'm Lori Martinez, and I'm a Modern Work Solutions Specialist here at Microsoft to help moderate and assist with answering your questions today. Today, our Modern Work webinar series will build on top of our last Viva webinar, which showcased Viva from an end user perspective. If you'd like to watch that, it's posted on our YouTube channel for your viewing convenience, and we'll be posting that link in the chat in a moment. It is titled A Day in the Life with Viva. But today we'll have a focus on Viva Topics and Viva Learning with a bit more of an administrative perspective. And this should offer you some things to think about as you consider how Viva can help your organization. So helping with moderating today is technical specialist Ryan Ding. Please feel free to post any questions in the chat, and Ryan and myself will do our best to answer in chat. We will also have a few minutes in between the topics piece and the learning piece to ask, briefly if there's any questions there. And then, of course, we'll always keep just a few minutes at the end of the presentation for additional Q&A. Our amazing presenters today will be Cloud Solution Architect Matias Cordero Ochoa and Principal Consultant Tomasz Janczak. All right, Matias, take it away.
Well, hello everybody. Please let me share my screen. Okay, so first of all, we are going to talk a little bit about Viva Topics. Okay, and well, just a little bit for recap from the previous experience. We have the platform experience from Viva. Allow me to introduce a little bit myself. I'm a cloud solution architect for all the modern work solutions. Okay, and I'm more focused on the part of collaboration. So this part of Viva Topics is really related to my current role. Well, having a little bit of recap about this, what we are doing is basically we have the employee experience platform, which is the whole Viva thing, okay? But we're focusing on this knowledge and expertise part that you see here on the lower right corner, okay? So here, the idea is that we can take advantage of all the Viva topics to build our knowledge network in our company, okay? So this is the idea of Viva Topics itself. I'm going to introduce a little bit and use a couple of slides to just mention this, and then we go just to a live demo where we can see how this actually works. Okay, so the idea is that we have today the challenge that we have are these that you see there. Okay, we have a lot of information overload. We have some organization gaps. For example, we need to be very careful with everything that we are talking about. Sometimes, for example, it happens in our company that we have a lot of acronyms and something like that, which is difficult for new employees finding the right or meaning of something or something like that. Okay, and also we have the difficulty to find the right information and the right people that knows this information. Okay, so this is very important because at the end of the day, if we want to know someone or find someone that knows about something, it might be very difficult in our world because there is a lot of topics and it's very, very difficult to find this. Okay, so these were topics is going to help us. Okay, so what are the solutions that we propose for this? Okay, so the idea is basically connect people to knowledge and expertise. Okay, so that's why we call it employee experience, because the idea is to put the employees focus on the knowledge and expertise and relate this to other topics, other people, etc. Okay, and how we're doing this? Automatically categorizing content and processing the content automatically. So the idea is that topics is going to suggest topics for us, and we can just curate those topics or elaborate on those topics and so on. So this is the powerful of this. Okay, it's not like we are generating all the content. It's the proper topics itself which is going to find out this content and suggest that content to us. We will see that on the demo later today. Okay, the idea is that once we have this, the Viva Topics experience will underline and show to us on all the Microsoft products. Basically, we right now have it on SharePoint, but it will come to Teams and Outlook. So when someone mentions something that has a topic associated with this, we will be able to see that topic. I see that we already showed this on the previous session. So it's basically, we are going to see how we can achieve that, okay? And obviously, if we have all this information on SharePoint and topics, it can be protected with security and compliance. Okay, so this is basically what we do. We have the topic pages, okay, and these topic pages is going to work with any mention of this topic on any collaborative environment on Microsoft Teams, Outlook, SharePoint, etc. And then we are going to see a small card, which is this one that you see here, and we will see this card that you see here. We will see this on the demo, and you will see how we can create this and how can we elaborate this and recognize people, etc. Okay, so a little bit about this. How what are the use cases that we have for Viva Topics, or what are the most common scenarios where we can use Viva Topic and take an advantage of this? And it's basically three that we have. Okay, it's building a shared vocabulary. Okay, this means that we are used to share or to have the same words for something. Okay, but not everybody that joins the company or not everybody that works on the same thing usually sometimes use the same wording. Okay, so the idea of this is if we can build a shared vocabulary or just have a knowledge database on how we call things that make a little bit more interesting or knowledge. Okay, we transform information into knowledge, which is the value of this. Maximizing the value of workforce is basically helping our employees and the people in the company to find knowledge quicker, faster, and in a more significant way. Okay, and finally, it's a project onboarding. It's basically what we are going to do is to help people speed up when they onboard a new project or they join the company or something of these kind of situations. Okay, so what are customers right now using Viva Topics for the most things? Okay, it's basically these things that you see there. Okay, it's democratizing access to project and product design or training during the role. Okay, so you just find a new acronym or you just find a new concept that you don't know, and it's going to pop out a small card that will give you a quick tip on that, and then you can investigate a little bit more, or you can see people that has knowledge on this topic, something like that. Okay, so at the end, what this is doing is speeding up our learning processes. Okay, on the company culture. So this is very great because we can not only expand the knowledge or the learning on technical issues or something like that, but really knowing better the company. Okay, and find people that is connected with these topics, find other topics connected with the topic that we have, and so on. So let's see a little bit how does it work. Okay, this is like the idea is on this is how do we work with this. Okay, so we in order for this to work, we have a little bit of challenge. I mean, it's not really something that is working pretty fast. Okay, so we need to have all the knowledge on all the content in Microsoft 365 Cloud. Okay, so the idea is that if you're not using Teams or if you are not using SharePoint to host your knowledge, your content, okay, then this is not going to leverage a lot of information. Okay, because if we are not using those parts, the problem is that we're not having the knowledge there, so we are not going to be able to crawl content. We are not going to be able to suggest topics and so on. So the first thing that we need is to have all the content on the Microsoft 365 network. Okay, once we have this, we can have separate connectors. Okay, with different systems. Okay, but this has to be like a little bit of an exception. Okay, it's not the same thing that you have content on a file server or something like that. That if the content is directly hosted on SharePoint, for example. Okay, and once we have this, the next phase is deploy. Okay, and in order to deploy, we need to identify which content has been indexed for Viva Topics, okay, and then assign licenses. Okay, Topics has is not one of the free parts of Viva. Okay, it has a small cost, so we need to have a license assigned to users in order to use Topics. Okay, once we have this, we have to define the roles that we are going to use on Topics, and this is we have basically 4 roles. Okay, we have the people that just see the topic, okay, and they can just view the topic, which will probably be everyone in the company. Okay, then we have the topic contributors, that is people that will have the topic and they can add content to a topic or something like that. Okay, and this might be almost every subject matter expert on a topic or something like that. Okay, so it's also a very common role. And then we have 2 more roles, which are the roles that we have actually to assign people, which is the knowledge managers and the knowledge administrators. Okay, that are these 2 roles are the ones that are going to manage the administrative part of all the topics ecosystem. Okay, so basically how it works is this way. Okay, we have these 2 parts, and well, we are not talking about syntax this in this webinar. Okay, but syntax is very related with this, because at the end of the day it's also helping us to evaluate documents and generate knowledge based on those documents. Okay, so basically what we have is we have this topic card. This topic card is showing on Teams, Yammer, Outlook, and SharePoint on the 4 applications. And we have the topic center. The topic center is where we define all the topics and we curate everything and so on. So basically, this is what we have. Okay, we have the Microsoft Graph and AI that is going to be exploring all the content that we have on our tenant, and then based on the content, people interactions, and so on, it's going to just elevate this and suggest topics and create topic pages, and then we are going to be able to curate those topics. So the users that are experts on this will be able to curate those topics. Okay, and once we have a topic curated and it's published, then we're going to be able to find it out on all the Microsoft 365 apps that we were mentioning before. Okay, syntax on all this scenario comes that once we have content centers and we have a knowledge extraction from documents, this will also create topics. Okay, so basically this is what we have. And if you see there at the bottom of the slide, you can see Microsoft Graph content connectors. Okay, and that's what we can add, or how we can extend a little bit this. Okay, so basically, okay, we have these 3 steps. Okay, which is topic discovery. Okay, so this means that people can discover site topics. We can block some topics. We can evaluate everything. Okay, then we have the topic visibility, which is the audience that we have for the topics, licensed users, etc. Okay, and then we can also create topic permissions. Okay, and we can see, for example, we can say, for example, we this topic we don't want to be these people. We don't want to access this topic, and so on. Okay, this is what I mentioned before. Okay, we have these 4 roles that we were mentioned before. Okay, everyone is basically can see the topics. Okay, the topic contributor or subject matter experts can contribute to topics, can curate, pin people, can add resources to the topic, and so on. And then we have the 2 more administrative roles that are knowledge manager and knowledge administrators. And basically the difference on this is the knowledge manager is in charge of the quality of the knowledge and the network of curators. So it's the one that is going to define who is a contributor for a topic and so on. And the administrators will be a little bit more in the most administrative part. Okay, so it's basically defining the experience of topics, how the security and compliance works, licensing, etc. Okay, so this ends with the part of explaining how it works a little bit, and then we are going to switch directly to how it works on a real environment. Okay, so I'm going to turn off my camera so we can focus on the presentation. Okay, so I hope you can see my screen. This is a SharePoint page. It's very common SharePoint page. So I'm using a demo environment here, and if you see here, this is just a page with some content on it, and we have this underlying thing here, this digital service initiative. Okay, if I just put my mouse on here, I will see this small topic card. Okay, and this is one of the topic cards. I can just see here digital service initiative, which is this topic related to. Okay, and even here, I mean, in this very moment, in this very card, I see a little bit description about what this is, and I see people related, resources related, etc. Okay, and as I'm one of the subject matter experts for this, it's actually asking me, is this description correct? Okay, so I can just give feedback directly here. Okay, but let's not focus on this for a moment, and I will be opening this page. Okay, so if I click here on this digital service initiative title, it will open one of the topic pages, okay, which is in the topic center. If you see here, we have the topic center. This is Viva Topics main page, okay, but we have this digital service initiative, okay, and since this topic is not really curated yet, okay, so no one has interacted with this, what we have is mostly suggested things, okay, so I have this first description of the topic, and then I have suggested people, which is Megan Bowen, which is the creator of one of these documents, okay, that's why she's here, because it has been discovered, and I have this files that also has the digital services initiative in it, and we have this suggested. Okay, so what I have to do with this in order to evolve all the topics things, okay, is basically I can just edit this page, and once I edit this page, there's a lot of things I can do. Okay, so here, for example, I can use another alternate names on this. Okay, for example, so I can say I want this DSI to be one of the alternate names. Okay, so I can use this thing. Okay, and I can add any names that I want to add here. So every time I try to find, if I search for DSI, or if DSI is placed on one part, okay, this will also be referenced as a topic. Okay, also have the short description, which is basically the description of the topic. I'm not going to interact with this, and then we have two parts of people. We have the suggested people and we have the pinned people. So every topic, it's going to suggest people that the proper Microsoft AI and the graphic network is going to discover. Okay, and then I can just confirm. Okay, so if I come here and I confirm that Megan is one of the persons that is working on this topic, I just she will just appear on pinned people, okay, not in suggested. So this means that this is people that is confirmed to be knowledge about this topic, okay, and the same happens with pinned files and pages. Okay, I can just go to these files and say, okay, fine, I want to pin this file, and it will come back up here. Okay, I can pin sites, and I can also use these related topics mesh. Okay, and it's not very well, not very creative here. Okay, but if you start using topics, then and someone mentions, for example, digital service and other things in the same conversation on Teams, or if you have a document that contains both initiatives, so this initiative and another one, it will automatically create links between those topics. Okay, so you have very quick capable of using this. So if I republish this page right now, the next time I go to the service, to this digital service initiative, I just have pinned people and pinned files. If I keep working on this, then it will continue looking for more people, more documents, and at the end, I will end up with a really interesting page with all the knowledge. Okay. So this is one thing. And the other thing that I wanted to show you is how we manage all these. Okay. So this is a page that I just created, okay? But if I go here back to manage topics, okay, this is where I can actually manage how the topics works, okay? And as you can see here, we have a lot of information, okay? And I can filter this by suggested, confirmed, and published, okay? And we have these three different types of topics, okay? So we have the suggested are topics that the graph itself has just found. For example, this found Norwind, okay? And if you see here, this just has some documents and has people working on it, this is myself actually. I mean the account I'm using here, okay? So basically we have all these, okay? And you see here you have suggested resources, this is document, this is sites, etc. So if I click here, it will open the page for this, and you see we have a lot of documents, a lot of things, suggested sites, suggested files and pages, and it's the same, okay? No, and I can just open this, okay? So if I go back to my topic center, okay, I can just pick any of these elements, okay? And for example, I can use Real Cloud here, which is one of the service leaders. This is a company, okay, fictional company, okay. But if I just go there, I can just open this, and this will also show everything, okay. The interesting part of this is that if I just perform a search on here, okay, for example, if I just go here to the main page of my SharePoint site and I just find or try to find Real Cloud here, it will show in the search, it will show the topic directly here. Okay, so this is very interesting because this is a suggested topic that will be configured here, and you just can click and it will take me to the same page that I was before. Okay, so I can just do this. And the same thing I can do in my topic center. I can just change the topics from confirmed to published, etc. Okay, so that's the idea. If I just go here and select published, I think I don't have any published in this tenant, okay? But I have the published topics, the confirmed topics, and the suggested topics, okay? Which is the topics that has been identified in my company. And you have here the topic score and the org topic score. So you have something kind of, how many people is talking about this, or how many elements we found about this, okay, and how many impressions of this topic has been done, etc. So the idea, it's very interesting. You have these 92 suggested, 8 confirmed, and 1 published. I'm not sure why not showing the published one. Oh, probably I don't have access to it, but no problem. Okay, so this is the idea. But the most powerful thing of this is that we can integrate all these on Teams. Okay, so if I just go to my Teams here, okay, I can just have this Viva Topics app on Teams, and this is going to land on my main page for topics. And you see here, you can just curate topics directly from here. Okay, so I have this facilities and delivery, GR 198, and I can say, okay, do you want, I mean, it's asking me if I want to be related with this topic somehow. Okay, so if I can say yes, okay, I will be listed on this topic as a subject matter expert. Okay, but also I can just here from the topic center, just go to the pages and see which topic pages I have here. Okay, so I have the digital service initiative, I have the home, okay, and I can just use all the topic center directly from Teams. Okay, and basically, if we start conversations on Teams with any of these topics, it will also do the same thing that we have here. It will highlight the topic and will show it to everyone. Okay. So this is basically what we have with topics, okay? And this is what I wanted to show you. Okay, obviously, in order to do this, there is a little bit few configurations that we have to do at tenant level. Okay, so we have to enable topics, we have to define the knowledge managers and the knowledge administrators. We have to create the topic center, which is this center that we have here. Okay, which is basically we could be included in Teams. And also we have to add the application, the topics app to the Teams if we want to use it on Teams, the topic center, okay? All the rest will come automatically to Teams, SharePoint, Yammer, and Outlook, okay? So that is all from my side. I'm not sure if we have any questions to be addressed.
Taking a look right now, nothing has come in through the chat just yet. But if anybody does have any questions for Matias right now over Viva Topics, feel free to post them in the chat now. We'll also, again, have a few minutes at the end of the session. Thank you, Matias. That was great.
Yep. You're welcome.
All right, Tomasz.
Yes, hello everybody. Let me just share my screen. So hello, my name is Tomasz Janczak, and I'm a principal consultant in the modern work area. I'm from Poland, but I'm based in Barcelona, Spain, and my work is focused on helping enterprise customers to adopt Microsoft technologies for their business processes. And today I will explain in more depth the Viva Learning, and this will build on the previous webinar. So I will just go a bit deeper into the Viva Learning functionalities, administrative capabilities, and also I will explain a little bit on the roadmap of Viva Learning for the future. So first, let's start with some statistics. So there was a recent Work Trend Index report which was published recently by Microsoft, and in this report we observed that more than 3/4 of the employees are indicating that they would stay at their company longer if they had more opportunities for learning and development. So this statistic indicates that the leaders at companies should invest in new technologies to enable the employees for growth and to maintain talent at their companies. How does it currently look like, the learning landscape at typical companies that we work with? So basically the learning experience is separated from everyday work tools. So the company might have either a learning content provider available for their employees, or a learning management system, or even learning experience platform, but those tools are not integrated in the tools used for collaboration at the company and for the day-to-day activities such as Teams, Outlook, Search, or intranet portals. So how can Viva Learning help with this? So Viva Learning provides the integrated learning experience, which is in the day-to-day activities of the employees integrated in their tools they are using. So it allows browsing learning contents, searching for content, recommending content to others, sharing it directly from the tools employees are using day to day. So going a little bit into the detail of what Viva Learning offers, we have 3 layers. The platform layer, which is Teams and Microsoft 365. This allows learning in the flow of work for the employees by bringing the learning experience in the tools that employees are using every day. The second layer is the aggregation layer. This layer, the APIs, enables integrations with partners solutions, which provide learning content to Viva Learning. As you can see, we have built-in integration with a number of learning integrators, and there are some also new integrations upcoming with Workday, and we are also exposing APIs that basically will allow integration from any learning system with Viva Learning. And by having all those integrations available, we have all learning content available in one place, which simplifies the learning experience for the employees. And the last layer is the data layer. So Viva Learning leverages Microsoft Graph technology, which analyzes different signals based on usage of Microsoft 365 platform, and this affects the recommendations and search results for employees. So all those will be personalized for the employees and relevant to their work as well. In terms of learning ecosystem, we can see that here that Viva Learning can bring content from different types of sources. The first one is learning providers. So after admin sets up the connection to a specific learning provider, the learning content would become available in the Viva Learning application to all the employees. The second is learning management systems. So again, after this is set up, not only learning content, but also assignments and insights would be available in the Viva Learning application. And last but not least, we also have the ability to upload custom content using the SharePoint Learning Connector. In this case, administrators upload learning content to SharePoint, and this is available to a selected group of people. What all this enables in terms of scenarios, so managers are able to set up learning tabs for their teams and also give recommendations on learning assets that the team members should go through. Employees can easily discover and access the learning content directly from the Viva Learning application and from other tools they use every day. And additionally, employees can keep track of learning assignments as well as personally bookmarked content. Okay, in terms of learning creation and administrative roles available in Viva Learning. So the Viva Learning is a very open environment, meaning that everyone can discover, share, and interact with learning. And also everyone can create those learning teams tabs and create those learning assets for their teams. The second role are company subject matter experts. Those contribute learning resources that are uploaded to the company custom learning catalog. So those people would actually create the content and share this with the knowledge managers and administrators for uploads to the custom content catalog. The third role is the learning program manager role. This role allows curation of learning paths in Viva Learning. So learning paths is an upcoming capability that will be available soon, and it will allow to group related learning assets into the learning paths, and then those learning paths will be available to the end users, and the related content can be consumed together with progress tracking as well. The fourth role is the knowledge manager role, and the knowledge manager role allows creation and management learning content. This role is actually shared with Viva Topics, so it's actually the same role shared between Viva Learning and Viva Topics, and it allows to basically upload those custom learning assets into SharePoint and also configure security settings so that proper groups have access to correct learning assets. Fifth role is the knowledge administrator role. This is again a role shared with Viva Topics, and this role has full access to all configuration capabilities of Viva Learning. It can manage learning sources, configure security groups as well, and it also can assign people to other two roles. So it's like a delegated administration for all things related to Viva Learning. And last is the Microsoft 365 administrator. So apart from general administration of features across Microsoft 365, this role would also delegate people to have knowledge administrator role. Okay, now let's switch to the demo. Let me just turn off my camera so we can focus on the demo content. And let's switch to the demo. So I will demonstrate several capabilities of Viva Learning, which were not yet demonstrated in the previous webinar. I'm starting with the inside of the Viva Learning application in Teams. And the first scenario I would like to demonstrate is the creation of the Learning tab in Teams. I'm logged in as a manager of a team, so I will go to my team and to the general channel of my team, and I will use this plus button to add additional tab into the general channel of my team. I will select the Viva Learning as a tab to be added to the channel. And here I can specify the name for the tab. For now, I will leave the default value. And then I can select the learning assets either from the company-wide course catalog by searching or by adding some custom URLs from SharePoint to my learning tab. In this case, I will be searching the company-wide catalog, and since I'm the manager of a retail team, I will search for learning assets related to retail, select a couple of those assets, retail sales foundation, job skills related to retail, and a couple of more. I have the possibility to post to the channel about this new tab, so I will leave this enabled so we can see how this looks like, and I will save my changes, which will create this new Viva Learning tab with the learning assets I selected in the previous screen. So if I go to the post section of my channel, I can see that Viva Learning has automatically created this message, and all the users of my team can easily go to this Viva Learning tab from this message. The second capability I want to demonstrate is the possibility to recommend learning assets to team members. So again, I'm logged in as a manager of a team, and I want to take one of the learning assets that I published in Viva Learning tab and recommend it to a couple of people, because I think they should, as soon as possible, go through this learning. Those are new team members in my team, and I need them to ramp up on some of the important learning assets. So I will just type their names in the recommendation screen, and I will add a note. Please complete this learning as soon as possible. And I will also define a due date, which will be 1 week from now. I click the recommend button to save my changes, and this will in the background generate recommendations for those employees. So let's switch now to the experience of an employee. So I'm now logged in as one of the employees in Adele's team. I can see that there is one new notification in activity in Teams. I take a look at it, and it is the recommendations for a course that was shared by my manager Adele. I can see I can immediately start playing content in Teams, or I can basically save it for later and reserve some time using the add to calendar feature, which you can see here. So if I'm ready to actually indicate to my manager that this learning was actually completed, I can I can use this interface to indicate whether it's in progress or completed. So I will set it to completed so that my manager knows that I already went through this learning and has the knowledge about it. So now let's go back to the manager experience. I will open Viva Learning now. And I can see in Viva Learning on the Manage tab all the recommendations I made. And in fact, if I go to the statistics button, I will see that Lynn has indicated that she completed the learning, and I can also track progress of the other learning assets that I recommended in the past. Now I will explain a couple of administration capabilities available for knowledge administrators. So Adela, apart from the fact that she's a manager of a team, she's also assigned a knowledge administrator role. So I will go to the admin tab of Viva Learning, and as you can see, I have two sections available here. First section is related to management of learning content providers. Yes, so as we can see here in this tenant, there is a number of learning content providers configured. And if I want to, as an administrator, check the status of synchronization, I can do that by exporting the logs. I can see the status of the last content synchronization. So Viva Learning has a scheduled synchronization of content from each of the learning providers, and I can see here what is the last execution of this schedule sync on the screen. Additionally, if I would like to review the settings of how a specific learning content provider is configured, I can actually access Microsoft 365 Admin Center, and on this screen I can see the details of the configurations, and I can also enable additional learning content providers on the screen. And so, for example, for the SharePoint content provider, which is used for custom company content, I can see that it is configured in this specific site collection, which has learning in the name. I can enable new content provider. I would have to specify relevant details, which are actually provider specific. Yes, so for example, for Skillsoft, I would have to provide organization ID, service account key, and data center endpoint URL. But for SAP SuccessFactors, there are other parameters that I would have to provide to configure this. Okay, so this is the experience of the administration, how we add new learning providers, and how we check the status of the synchronization and the configuration of those learning providers. Okay, the next thing I wanted to show is how, as knowledge administrator, can I add new learning assets to the custom company learning catalog. So in order to do that, I need to go to the site collection, which is configured as the company learning catalog. I have this open in this tab. I can see all the learning assets that are already added here with all the details. And at the moment, Viva Learning supports videos, PDF documents, Word documents, PowerPoint documents, Excel documents, and also links to external content such as YouTube videos. So this is also possible to use as custom learning content for the company. In this case, I'm going to create a new Word document directly from SharePoint interface. Okay, new learning course. I will not write this this fully at the moment, but this is how I could create it, and this will create. Just a second. Let me close this. I will close this tab. This will create a new entry in the course catalog, and after creation, I can go to edit and rename this document to something more relevant. And I can also provide a description of this learning, a custom icon, duration in minutes, and I can also select skill tags, which can be used for searching of those custom learning assets. This can be connected to any company-wide term set, and the administrators can configure the keywords relevant to your company to be available on this interface when we select the skill tags. Let's say I will apply this entry, and let me exit from this view, which will save my changes. Okay, so how do those learning assets created in the company custom catalog appear in Viva Learning? So let's go to the home page of Viva Learning, and as we can see here in the providers, I have the Contoso group, and the learning assets that I add to the custom content learning catalog will appear here. I can access this and I can view it directly in the Viva Learning, and I can go through this learning here. Yeah, so this will open in the embedded player. This is how this looks like. Last feature that I wanted to demo today is the creation of feature sets. So as a knowledge administrator, I have the possibility to configure feature sets in Viva Learning. Those feature sets will be presented to the end users on the homepage of Viva Learning. So on this screen, I have the possibility to manage feature sets created previously, create new ones, and also I can disable this option to show trending content. The trending content is a content that is frequently used in your tenant, basically, and it is also displayed together with feature sets on the homepage of Viva Learning. So let's create a new feature set. We can define the end date, so when it will stop appearing in Viva Learning. And then we can select the courses that we want to feature. So for example, I will search for a learning course related to marketing and one related to accessibility. Sorry, let's type this. Yeah, okay. Yes, after I select those learning assets, I click on the Save button, and then I can still edit this before I publish it. After I publish it, it will become available for all the users after some time, after all this is processed by the system. So the featured set and trending content is displayed on the homepage for the users. So here I can see the featured content, and also I can see the trending content, since this was frequently opened by users in my company. So this completes the demo section of my presentation. Now let's get back to the slide deck. I have a couple of additional slides. Microsoft is actually very actively using Viva Learning, and we are actually customer zero of Viva Learning. We started using it as soon as it became, even before it became generally available. And we have a very large number of monthly active users. Almost everyone at Microsoft is using Viva Learning. A lot of users consume content on mobile devices. And we also observed that there is a very large percentage of increase in users consuming at least 2 optional learning courses per month, which is a very good indication that the Viva Learning is having a big impact on the company culture at Microsoft. Regarding roadmap, so here we can see the list of features available now. We have actually went through most of those features as part of today's demos or the ones that were done in the previous webinar. I will also only mention that apart from those that were displayed, we also have the surfacing learning through Microsoft Search capability. So when searching across Microsoft 365, the learning assets are displayed together with other content, and there is also a dedicated tab for learning assets in search results. And yeah, in the coming next 3 months, we will have additional capabilities added to Viva Learning, learning paths. I already briefly explained this. Learning collections. This is somewhat similar to learning paths because it allows grouping learning assets together. But in this case, this is done by the regular employees, and it is like personal collections of employees that they can also share with others if they wish to do so. Setting permissions on learning assets. This is something that will be coming. This will allow better control on which learning from different learning providers is available to which users. Featured content targeting. So the featured content capability that I demoed as part of the demo, today's demo, will be improved to allow creating different featured content for different groups of employees. And we also have upcoming integration with other Viva modules. There will be interoperation with Viva Insight, so the daily briefing email in Viva Insight will allow direct reservation of time in calendar for learning activities. And in Viva Connections, we will have a Viva Learning dashboard item, which will allow employees to have a summary of their learning, upcoming learning, assigned learning, bookmark learning, and they can directly go to Viva Learning from Viva Connections as well. In terms of longer term, there will be improvements in the intelligent recommendations. So this will be based on the Microsoft Graph that I explained. There will be Workday interoperation introduced next year, improvements in reporting capabilities. So there will be more advanced reporting possibilities focused on culture of learning at the company, and additional improvements for interoperations with other Viva modules. Yeah, so in terms of features, some of the features are included in with standard Microsoft 365 licenses, so such as access to learning resources provided by Microsoft, searching and browsing learning content, sharing, creating learning tabs in Teams, and also integration with SharePoint for company-generated resources. All this does not require Viva licenses. With Viva license, we also get integration with those learning management systems and learning providers, recommendation capabilities, surfacing learning content in search, adding learning content to calendar, and several capabilities that are coming soon will also be available with Viva Premium licenses. On this slide, you can see several resources that you can use to get additional information on Viva Learning. Also, there are several interactive demos that you can take a look at, and it's quite extensive documentation related to usage of Viva Learning and setup of Viva Learning. So that's all from my side. And any questions?
Thank you, Tomasz. That was awesome. I don't see any questions that are lingering right now, but that was really great. I learned a lot from both the topics and the learning pieces of it, because typically what I tend to see is more of the high, overview pieces of it in my day-to-day, but having both of you that have the experience of pushing these types of deployments out and how to manage those from an administrative perspective is really helpful to understand, and it answers a lot of questions that I get as a specialist from some of my customers that I have here at Microsoft. So I really appreciate the expertise and the insight that you guys have provided today. So thank you. So it looks like I'm going to share my screen real quick here. Let's see. All right, just a quick slide here just to mention some of the upcoming webinars that we have that we'll be presenting over the next few weeks/months. Holidays are coming up, so we will be moving to one webinar a month. Next one being Viva Insights and Viva Connections on December 8th, same time, 11 a.m. Central Time. And then after that, we will be following up our last webinar that went over Exchange migrations. This will also be in the subset of migrations, but instead of Exchange, will be OneDrive and SharePoint Online, and how you can start to manage and think about what kind of migration and what kind of work will go into something like that if you wanted to move away from, I don't know, say Google Drive or Box or even a network share. And then finally, in February, we do have a Windows 365 Cloud PC overview, which is your Windows in the cloud, both touching on the business aspect of Windows 365, and then, of course, a little bit more feature-rich of the enterprise version of Windows 365 and how that can also help in your organization as well. So it looks like no questions still, but it does look like we are almost at time, so we have about 3 minutes left. Tomasz and Matias, again, thank you so much for the amazing presentation you guys did. And for any of the users that are still on this particular webinar, I will want to also remind that I will send a follow-up email with all the URLs shared in the chat and presentation. And then the YouTube recording, of course, will be uploaded and also included in that email for your convenience if you need to review anything. And then also, if anything strikes your fancy, throughout this presentation, if you have additional questions, maybe you want some more information, please reach out to your dedicated Microsoft representative or even a Microsoft certified partner, and they can help get you in touch with one of us or walk you through some of that additional information that you need. And so with that, again, thank you for joining us today. And one more time, just big thanks to Tomasz and Matias today. So appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good day, y'all.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.